Hello and welcome to the U.S. Army Presents Reload Collegiate CSGO Invitational. We're right here at the Esports Stadium, Arlington. We're about to jump right into group number 6. Goodness gracious, we're that far into this tournament now. It feels like we just started, but it also feels like we've been here forever. So you choose whichever one we want to go with. But we're in Group F now. So again, I'm Corey Dunn. I'm joined here with Jonathan O. It's been a fun 5 days so far. We're in the 6th day right now.
We are in Group F for anyone keeping track on the brackets at home. And yes, Corey, we are in day number 6. We've seen a lot of great action the last couple of days, and I think we've seen a lot of teams starting to lose wind towards the end of these days. But Corey, it is a new day, and we've got 4 new sets of teams now, don't we?
We do. So let's take a look first. For those that have not seen this yet, how does this actual playoff work? We'll take a look at the format and how the prize pool breaks down. As we take a look, again, we started off with 28 collegiate teams here in the tournament from the Central and Eastern region. Divided those into 8 different groups. We are now in group number 6, which is Group F. So we're moving right along. Of course, this group will end on May 4th. All of these groups, the top 2 teams from each group will advance into the playoffs, and then of course they all end up into the playoffs, which is a 16-team double elimination playoff bracket that begins on May 10th. Prize pool breaks down like this: $3,000 for first, $1,500 for second, and $500 for third place. All matches are broadcast on twitch.tv/esportsstadium. Kind of a little deeper dive into the schedule overall from April 27th to May 4th. We've got a few more days of this, of some Counter-Strike in the group play. And then May 5th we'll begin our playoffs. We'll do that from May 5th to May 10th. On the finals, it'll be on May 10th. But we'll also have an exhibition matchup on May 10th on our finals day. Roughly around 5 p.m. we have the third place team from our tournament will play against the U.S. Army Esports CSGO team. So that's going to be a lot of fun watching how those teams kind of work out. We'll also be joined throughout all of the playoffs with different U.S. Army Esports team players. We also have we'll have a co-caster for all 5 of those days, or all 4 of those days. Yeah, I guess it is 5. 6 days. There we go. All 6 of those days. I got there. So all 6 of those days will be joined with the commentator as well from the U.S. Army Esports team. But if you want to follow all the action, make sure you head over to brackets.esportsstadium.gg. Let's take a brief look at all the teams that actually joined us in this tournament from the get-go. But of course, we've said goodbye to a few of them, and we've seen that others that have advanced into the tournament. If you look at the top line right now, you've got RMU, VCU, Kennesaw, RIT, which they go by RIT Orange, Rochester. Those teams have actually advanced into the playoffs, all in the number 1 seed. Then you've also got UConn as well. UConn has advanced as the number 1 seed. And then on the flip side, you've got a few other teams like St. Clair College. You've got, as I look at UAH, you also have the University, or Miami University of Ohio. There's been several different teams that have been able to make it in there and advance through. All right, so that's going to take us into looking at how these groups are going to play out. This is Group F. So Group F is made up of Northeastern. They'll be facing off against UTD's, their JV team, University of Texas at Dallas. They're going to be their JV team. That will start at noon. That'll be our matchup that we'll be talking about here in just a moment. The following matchup is going to be Drexel versus Champlain College. That will begin at 1 p.m. today. The winners of those will be playing against each other directly following that matchup, which will be at 2 p.m. Central. And then the lower bracket will begin, which of course all of those are going to be best of 3. The loser from the top 2, or from the first 2 matches, will face off against each other, and then they'll advance and play against the loser of the upper bracket round 2. Of course, at that point, we will be at have our top 2 teams out of the bracket. They'll advance into our 16-team playoff bracket. What are some of the things that you're looking forward to seeing in this group that you feel like we haven't seen yet?
Well, as we just take a quick look at the seeding, Northeastern and UTD JV, that's the first match, is the number 8 seed versus UTD JV is the 27 seed. So that might be a little bit of an uphill climb from UTD JV, but their counterparts, UTD, the main team out of that squad, is ranked a top, I believe they are ranked number
They're high up there.
7 in this bracket. So they've got good practice and good teammates to work with on that squad. So I'm excited to see what that JV team is able to work with. And on the flip side of Drexel and Champlain, we've got 16 on Drexel and 22 respectively. So I think that'll be a close match. It's hard to say early, as you've always mentioned. We don't have the most story to tell of these players so far, but as we start getting to the match of the only thing we haven't seen, as we discussed yesterday, was overtime, and we got very close many times yesterday. So today, I think what I want to see is a little bit more aggression, maybe in the sense of trying to hit more B-sides. We discussed this a little bit. We saw a lot of slow play that saw a lot of isolated 1v1s, and if anything, trying to see less of those interactions and more of at least setting yourself up for trades or just finding better gunfights overall from either side, really.
Yeah, so I mean we've seen a variety of different styles throughout this entire tournament thus far, and as Jonathan mentioned, our goal is to learn a lot about these teams and where they come from, and really start to understand each individual player. I mean, we've got some highlight players that we've picked up on throughout this tournament. Just even yesterday, we added a new one to the ranks, being Shot Up in his play style. So we were seeing just so many different players that are coming in, and we're learning so much about them. And so whenever we start to get into the actual double elimination bracket, we'll have all the storylines for you, and especially where they kind of land and what their circumstances are, what they're going through. We do know a lot about these different teams in terms of just their general demographic, their general information, but that doesn't tell us anything about their actual play style itself. So as we get into these matchups, we'll start to dissect more and more about what they're all about. And so we'll see how those kind of be able to shape up. But again, coming in as the #1 seed into this one, I feel like they've got a bigger chance. I mean, Northeastern is a solid team just based off of how we've ranked everything. So we'll see what they've got. I feel like they're going to be probably ready to rock and roll pretty early too. I feel for UTD JV, just making sure that they're prepared for this matchup. But again, based off of how the seedings work, I do think that they have a tougher match in front of them before we begin this one here.
And I do agree. Obviously, you just see the discrepancy of 8 seed and 27 seed. We saw Oklahoma State being the lone 28 seed, being all the way to the bottom. We saw they had definitely a rough performance in their very first match, going down 16-0. Showed some better life in their losers bracket run, but unfortunately being knocked out. So UTD JV, I think it'll be a good sight to see how their JV team's able to perform and how much practice they're able to get against the main team and how that translates to some of these higher seed teams.
All right, so just real fast before we head to a break, I want to take a look at the double elimination bracket real fast, just so we can see where we're going to see these teams fit into the overall storyline. As we look at the upper bracket, you can start to see that we've already started to paint a picture a little bit further here. And right now, the teams that we're going to be looking out for, so the team that places second in Group F will actually be playing against VCU there. And so we'll make that note there. And then we look on the flip side, the team that places first in this group, as we look at the bottom part of the bracket, we'll actually see that they will be playing against, looks like they'll be playing against Pittsburgh. So I'll make that note here as well.
That's correct, Pittsburgh.
So they'll be playing against Pittsburgh. So this is where I started mentioning to you before, Jonathan, is you start to question where do you want to fit into the bracket. The times are subject to change. So if a team is trying to base where they're at based off of the time, that is the incorrect approach. We'll work around those. We'll try to find the best scheduling possible for that one particular day. It's all about where you see the bracket laying out. You've got teams at the top side of the bracket. I mean, those are going to be some of your top teams that we're going to see. So we'll be on the lookout for those and how they play. So this is a double elimination bracket, though. So all teams that are going through this, they have to fight their way all the way through the double elimination bracket. So that's a whole other different type of storyline that we'll be playing with. So there's going to be your upper bracket. That's how things are going to shape up. We'll be looking out which team will be facing off against Pitt versus VCU in the upper bracket in the playoffs. We'll find out as we start to go through Group F. And so that kind of wraps up what we have for our pregame show here from the Esports Stadium Arlington. Coming up next, we've got Northeastern University facing off against UTD, the JV team, right here on twitch.tv/esportsstadium. We'll be back here in just a moment. Visit GoArmy.com and learn about 150 different career opportunities available now. Esports and the U.S. Army working together to make things better. Again, we're here at the Esports Stadium Arlington as we're about to kick off Group F, and we'll determine who is going to go into the double elimination playoff bracket. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at the schedule for today and how this one will play out. So we've got Northeastern versus UTD JV starting here in just a moment. We'll talk a little bit more of that here in a second. Drexel versus Champlain, which will be starting off at 1 p.m. Then we'll be in the next matchup, the upper bracket round 2. Those will be advancing into the playoffs. And then we have the lower bracket. The losers coming from both the first 2 matches. They'll be facing off at 3 p.m. That is a best of 3. And then to wrap up our day, we will have our 5th and final matchup. That will be between the loser of the upper round 2 and the winner of loser round 1. That will be whichever team wins that will advance into the playoffs. We've seen some really interesting things as of late. We've seen teams that have won in the first round, got defeated, and then got defeated again. So there's so many different storylines that we'll be looking at, but we'll start by talking a little bit about these 2 teams, kicking things off with Northeastern in this breakup. So here we have it. You've got ace of losers as well as Chevy. He goes by Chevy US1, or you can call him Chevy. You also have Valens, Matouche, and Shanti. So those 5 players here on the screen. Of course, Valens, you can see him all doctored up. He almost looks like a TV doctor in that photo. So there you go. That's going to be your team. We'll get a lot more information about these players here in a bit, but that is Northeastern. Let's go ahead and flip on the other side. You've got UTD JV. As here you have it. You've got DeBoozer. You've got Paint, as well as Bait, Avnish. And there you got Chris Fry Rice, which I think he also goes by a few other names. But yeah, so Chris Fry Rice, that will all be in the server here with us as well. Of course, this is the UTD JV team. They do look young, don't they?
That is funny, and that brings me back to when I was at UTD. That green background is where they take your photo ID. So if I pulled out my student ID, it would look just like that.
That's good. So I mean, that's funny. So this is actually kind of nice because this is the very first team where one of us are actually an alumni from, and so I think you actually probably would have played on the UTD JV team.
I was waiting for it, Corey. I was waiting for it.
All right, so that's the 2 rosters that we'll be looking at. Let's go ahead and switch over and take a look at the pick bands for this setup, and we'll start to jot down some notes. So UTD JV, they were actually forced to pick first because Northeastern had the higher seed. They actually elected to pick second, and the reason for that is they get to be able to choose ban the last map. So we'll take a look briefly. UTD had banned, they had actually banned Inferno, Nuke, and Train. And then if we look over on the other side for Northeastern, they banned Dust 2, Vertigo, and it was between their selection between Overpass and Mirage. Thank goodness. We ended up on Mirage, not on Overpass. We had a lot of Overpass matches yesterday. And I'm all for a little bit of variety throughout the day. But taking a look, what do you think about these kind of pick bands that we see here?
Just as you mentioned it, Corey, we saw Overpass 4 times yesterday, and it is our second leader behind Mirage in this tournament, as total times of 8 times played, and Mirage being the number 1 at number 9. So I think it's a smart pick here to come on through. As you mentioned, it's not really a pick. It's more of just what's the last remaining. And UTD JV, they're going to have to show what they've got. And it's a fundamental map, as we always have brought up. Not surprising to see Inferno going first, in my opinion, namely just because we know that Northeastern's a high-ranked team. First, UTD JV's on the lower side, and then all on the flip side, now we see their last 2 bands of Nuke and Train. Not surprising there. That's the combination that we have always talked about. Dust 2, Vertigo, and Overpass. I feel like this is pretty much what we'd expect. It has shown that many teams find Mirage to be that comfort map, whereas Inferno is like the 50-50 between those 2, with Mirage kind of always taking it on top. So nothing about what I'm seeing in front of me surprises me. And so if anything, I would say Inferno being the very first ban might be a little telling, considering, as we always talk, that's the fundamental map. And if UTD JV is not comfortable on that one from the get-go, I would say Mirage is kind of the same in some sense. Obviously, there's not that much battle for banana control, but you could argue that mid-control cat is somewhat similar in that sense. So we'll have to see how they try to battle it against Northeastern.
Yeah, one of the things I'm looking at right now is becoming in as a higher seed, and the fact that Northeastern banned Vertigo. I think that's something that we need to take in consideration as we kind of advance. If Northeastern makes it into the double elimination playoff bracket, that's an interesting. The reason why they would ban something like that. It was their second ban. But yeah, I think that's a little telling for me. Dust 2, I can understand depending on the type of team that you're playing against, but banning Vertigo, I'm going to make note there that might be a map that they just do not feel comfortable with as a team, which kind of creates a little concern for me at this point. So I'll be paying attention very closely at the actual play style of Northeastern and how well they execute together. It either could be A, how they feel about their own team chemistry, or B, it could just be related to their actual strategy and their execution on that particular map. So we'll learn a lot and see.
And then another thing to note, it's still a best of one, and so they also might not know that's going up against an UTD JV, and they don't want to be caught off guard on Vertigo, perhaps. And so maybe they just think to themselves, we know for certain we have a very strong fundamental team, right? So we want a more fundamental map. So there could be another reason. There's obviously a lot of reasons to dissect as we're looking at all of those maps on the screen, and all the players are into the server. Actually, one just dropped out, so I spoke a little bit too soon, but we're slowly but surely making our way into the first match of the series. So Corey, moving forward with both of these teams, what is something that you'd love to see from UTD JV?
I mean, first and foremost, I want to see just raw gunpowder. I want to see how well they actually can, win their entries. And so we'll pay attention, seeing which side they'll actually start on here in a second. But I'm really be paying attention to whether or not they can win gunfights. Of course, I'm basing this off of purely the fact that this is the B team, the JV team of UTD, and so my expectations are set a little lower. Now, I've been wrong. I've had no problems being wrong, but off of just initial impression, just reading a name, JV means not as good as another team. So at that point, I've set my expectations a little lower. So I just want to see them have some really good gunfights and see if they can win those. If they can, and looking at it right now, I'm going to see where we're at. The Boozer and team, they are on the counter-terrorist side, so we'll see how this one starts. As we are now hopping directly into the game. And we'll get some game audio here for you. So there's going to be a quick rush here towards the B bomb site. Oh, good. All right, they were going to kind of slow it down. Now the bomb carrier is still sitting inside the mid. They're going to go ahead and reconnect here in this location, but we still need some game audio.
One player holding the connector is Paint. He's going to see the first player on the side, and oh my goodness, he finds a lot of them, finding able two, and oh wow, that got very awkward there, as now UTD JV walking away with the first round. So there you go, Corey, as you mentioned it, winning the gunfights in the pistol round, and that's putting number 1 on the board, and that's got to feel pretty good if you are UTD JV. As being that number 27 seed going against the number 8, getting any advantage you can has to feel good. So winning the pistol is going to put them on some guns, as we see the Deagles coming out for Northeastern.
All right, so we'll still work on getting the audio fixed here.
Here, I got it, Corey.
Yeah, well, no, it's still. I mean, it won't make a difference. We're going to play out this round, and then we'll kind of fix it after this round.
I was saying I'll get the audio for you. Bang, bang, bang.
Oh no, that is
clunk.
all. It's better not hearing anything at all. All right, so they're set up here. Oh, again, it's still better. It's still better without. All right, so. As you can see them spread throughout the map. Of course, this is taking away. You got Bay who's watching inside of window. Let's take a look real fast on how what UTD decided to do. They went ahead and bought M4s. So you can see they already put guns over utility. Bait did have himself a full nade set with that MP9.
And he's using an MP9 watching mid. I'm a little curious as to that. Maybe he should have had.
He's watching window.
Well, window.
Yeah.
Was watching a long angle was the point I was getting at. So maybe I was thinking he could hold cat, and there we have Niche finding one, but not finding another one. That's going to be a headshot, but Boozer able to follow it up, and that's the bomb falling down on that B bomb site. It is a 2v3 here. Ace of Losers trying to get that bomb down, and it was not successful, and that's the round. So Chris Fried Rice able to find one on the board for himself, and here we are at the desk.
Yep. We're going to see if we can get the volume and everything fixed for us here in this game. We'll make sure we be able to hop back into it. But right now, just paying attention to what we saw right there, the fact that they decided to buy M4s, they decided to buy a certain set of weapons there in that second round is definitely interesting to me. I am curious on what they're trying to do. I'd be looking at some different angles here, and we're still trying to get the audio back for you here.
So we are actually in the third match here, and we're going to hop right back in. So we see similar setup, but bait actually falling down towards, I believe, connector. And now we see another pickup of niche there onto the apartments as we find one player running into the site. Snazzy finding his way in. The Boozer's going to meet him around the corner, and actually he's going to lose that gunfight. So, Corey, the thing you said you wanted to find the most was UTD winning gunfights, and we see one player doing the work for his team, and now they move on to the B-bomb site with Paint pushing his way out with the FAMAS. That's a nice first pick, but not able to find a second. And now Chris Fry Rice doesn't have a kit, and he's facing 4 players, moving his way towards Market as he decides whether he wants to take this or not. Probably just going to look for exits at this point. Ace of Losers decides to go on the hunt, looking the wrong way and not able to find the kill. And that's going to be an AK. It is, and it seems like Chris Fry Rice wants to go for this. He's still holding in, perhaps just trying to keep the players close to the site. Now we see a flank coming through on Matouche, and he definitely hears the footsteps. And now he's going to rotate over, and in just a few moments, we're going to see the head of Chris Fry Rice flying off, unless he holds this angle, and he finds the first shot. There we go. Still hunting him down, 2 coming from CT. Finds
beep,
his...
beep, 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 beep.
Oh, so you're allowed to make sounds, huh?
Just trying to help you out as we try to get things fixed. I'll probably just go ahead and come back to us here as well. We'll talk a little bit more and kind of fix things as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at this real fast. So as I'm trying to dissect what we see now, this will be one of the first few gun rounds. But of course, NEU or Northeastern. Picking up this round. You've got it set up there, starting to head towards mid right now. See if we got some game audio now. We still do not.
Oh, we see a revolver coming out, and then there it goes.
Yeah, so setting up here, and this is quickly going for Northeastern to win that round as well. All right, so still trying to work through. We're going to have a quick pause here in the game as well. I'm just going to go ahead and fix this here too. So there's our game has been paused. As we kind of look how the rounds and stuff have been shaping up, and trying to also troubleshoot with them at the same time. So John, what have you seen so far?
Yeah, you had that look in your eye of if you're listening to someone else. So
no, it's me like focusing. I can see what's going on, and
well, as to your point, Corey, we saw them winning some gunfights early on in that first and second round, and then after that, Snazzy actually just, am I saying that right? Snazzy?
Shancy?
Oh boy, I wasn't even close. Shanzy.
There you go.
Shanzy. Shanzy.
Yep.
Okay,
Shanzy.
there we go. It's going to be a long...
Tomato.
Tomato?
Ah, dang.
Snazzy. Wait, hold on. I'm going to write it down. What was it? One more time.
Shanzy.
Shanzy. All right. Shanzy. All right, now that I look at it, I'm going to stop. I'm just taking the C out of that.
You guys should enjoy watching him commentate, because it's like, all right, such and such. Phonetically, that's how I say it. Okay, okay, all right. And then he's gonna do phonetically, that's how we say that. And he still ended up with different names the whole time too.
Let me hear.
Prospection.
If you can see it, yeah, if you can see it here, I'll find it.
As well as clack and clake.
Yeah, I even if you can see my notes here, I have I say nonetheless a lot, so I scratch it off saying
there
I can't say it.
That's what we want to do.
And I have my little ticker here, and then right here I wrote down prospection, prospection, because just that something about the K was just ruining my day. Prospection, PowerPoint, prospection. That's what it felt like trying to say that word. But I guess to get back to your question, Corey, looking at Shanzy, I wrote it down. See, I got it that time.
Yep.
I'm telling you, it's the spellings that get me all wonky. But he just ran into the B bomb site and just completely took over. We wanted to see one gunfights from UTD, and we saw that in the pistol round in the following because they had guns against Deagles, and Well, now that we're seeing guns in the hands of Northeastern, it's not looking quite as good. We've seen those. It's now 2-2 as we are still addressing these audio issues, but it's 2-2, and that was a very quick 2-2, and it was like a definitive 2-2 in the fact that Northeastern just. I'm not sure. They got 2 players who survived the 3rd round, and they got the bomb plant, and then the 4th round, I'm pretty sure was just a 5-man clean slate for them.
Yeah, we haven't seen an actual gun round though yet. I mean, we've seen some weapons on one side, we've seen some weapons on another, but we haven't seen an official, full AK set with an op or whatever, or a full M4 with an op or anything like that. We're 4 rounds in, but again, it goes back to like these weird buys that they've already started with. Again, I saw UTD JV buying weapons 2nd round instead of buying your submachine guns, your MP9s or a shoddy or something along those lines. Usually those are money makers, and so we didn't see those there. So we'll see how this one goes now, as we are heading back into the game here with UTD JV and Northeastern University, and that's exactly what I thought was going to happen. So they're still working and still need to get audio here. And my assumption is it's probably needs the game feed needs to be refreshed. So
Regardless, that's the bomb down. So Paint able to find Shanzi very early on in the round, but they're able to retrieve that in Chevy and actually getting the bomb down immediately. He's going to fall down towards Sandwich. He's going to see 3 of them. Starts with 2, and that is a nice find for him. So Corey, those gunfights that you were talking about, doesn't it get any easier than that? In fact, it wasn't really a fight, as it's a 2v3 now retaken. Now it's all up to ace of losers, and he's trying to be an ace of winner here as he takes down 1. Let's jump on with him here as it's him against Avnish, as he gets the final frag, and he's now getting the defuse, and that's going to be the 3rd on the board for UTD JV. Importantly thing to note there is that was the AKs coming out there from Northeastern. So that was the closest thing we saw to a gun round. We saw a lot of FAMASs coming out for the side of UTD JV. We saw full AKs coming out on the side of Northeastern. And actually, we're actually seeing the AKs come out again in this round number 6. As we're still on the way, and we see a FAMAS in the hands of the Boozer. 1 AK being saved over on the side of Bait. And Avnish, the guy who did it for his team last round, is walking away with an M4 A1S as Paint's being picked up on connector.
all right. So we've got DeBoozer, who's watching over here towards Catwalk. They're spread throughout the map. But, of course, losing Paint early is going to make an impact on these guys. Let's see. And there goes Bait. Bait was over here with the AK. He's actually, Shanzi was right there inside of Palace. And Matoush has made his way up already inside of Jungle. They've got it really good. They're working on getting A control. And Matoush has got one there. He's going to try to be able to pick off DeBoozer. That's just not going to happen. Nice maul is coming out. Bomb is ticking away inside of the A-bomb site. And Valens has just decided to hightail it out of there, just away from his team. He's going to have a long kind of rotate. The bomb is slightly planted for connector, so this is a gutsy call. If his teammates got eliminated quickly, then he wouldn't be able to be there to be able to support them, but he's now going to be there in time, and there it is. But goodness, that was a gamble. That was an absolute gamble for him to be able to run all the way around, but it did pay off.
Yeah, and that's the thing about gambling. Sometimes you win big, and that's exactly what he did there. As we now sit 3-3, and that is a that is a pistol round now coming out for the side of UTD JV. Deagles and an MP9. So I think that was a good point you brought up, Corey. Early on in that 2nd round, they had the opportunity to get MP9s and try to boost their money a little bit more, as those guns warrants a little bit more money on kills, as they saw lots of rifles, and they were able to take it, but then they immediately traded back 2 rounds. So Chevy just making his way onto this B bomb site quickly with his teammate behind him, and he finds the first pick onto the Boozer. That's going to be a nice find there from Bait, and that grenade's going to do quite a bit of damage, and that's going to cause Ace of Losers to get on out of there. But Matt finding a pick now as Ace of Losers, nice jump, and he's going to find one rotating over to the B bomb site as he finds him, and there it goes. Winning the round, number 7, 4-3 in favor of Northeastern. UTD JV, I will say, I think they're looking pretty solid here. As you can see, we're trying to restart our game, so we're going to be cutting back to us now. 4-3, UTD JV. I think they're winning a solid amount of gunfights, Corey. Something I've been seeing is that they have great aim, and then we can't take that away from them. It is obviously a pretty close contended match still. It's 4-3. It's still pretty early. Like you said, we haven't seen a complete gun round with both teams having absolutely everything on the board.
Right.
And so we're still seeing these individual gunfights every here and so, but 4-3 is still a better stat line than what we may have expected.
Yep. Well, it's they've played well, but of course you have several stop starts that are happening. You've got different things that are impacting your overall gameplay. It's hard to be able to continue a game without knowing what's happening next. There's outside factors that are coming into play. So I feel for the team right now, and it's a harder chance to go, okay, well what's really going on. And so that's where we'll have to see how they kind of play this one out now as we're doing one final pass for us to get it right. But yeah, 4-3 right now in favor of Northeastern.
And it seems like it's just the game audios. We're looking at the other screen here. The computer, the observer computer has audio, and we're just not finding the game audio specifically.
It's a fix that we can be able to come up with. All right. It's difficult for me to kind of advance on stuff like this. So because we want the game to continue on because we're definitely on a tighter schedule. Let's see. And there we go. Now we have audio.
There it is.
Good. So we are now good with our game. So we can now start our game up as well.
There we go. Corey, maybe we should just make a soundboard just in case of you and me just doing all the voice clips of the sounds in the games. So anytime this happens again, we just click a button. We have all the and we hear it flashing. Oh, my eyes.
That could work. That's a possibility. All right. So, but again, the score right now 4-3 in favor of Northeastern, as we'll get this game unpaused and make sure they're all good to go. And so we can see again now that so many different things have changed how this has impacted this game. So you got AKs. We can already hear weapons as well, so that's a good sign. So just waiting for them to officialize, make sure both teams are ready to be able to unpause this game. And now we're back into our freeze time. All right, so Northeastern right now has got 4 with UTD JV at 3. So let's see. This one plays up here. So, yeah, you've got UTD JV that's actually on a save at this point in the round. This time they didn't buy anything. So,
not P250s, but yeah,
not even P250s. Oh, that's one. I don't think those are even. Those are.
Oh, those are P2Ks.
Those are P2Ks. Yeah.
So they don't have a 50 on them. Okay.
Yeah, I think the P250 has a little bit more of an indentation in it. So Ace of Losers has started this round as well. So bomb will get planted here by Valens. So this time it looks like, yeah, it is the P2K.
You are absolutely right.
Yeah, I thought the P250 had much more of an indentation in the actual design of it. And so there you go, Chevy with the quick flank, but an easy round coming in here for Northeastern. They only lose one player. That was Shanzi.
And here it is, Corey, the gun round that we've been talking about so far. Now we see DeBoozer with the AWP for his team. We're not seeing a lot of utility on the side of UTD JV, but it will be a gun round here in round number 9 as DeBoozer falls out of window. As he is smoked off. We see Bait getting very forward here onto Cat. He's going to see a lot of players here, but he's going to get taken out by Ace of Loser. Sees him first. Perhaps too aggressive there, needlessly so, but we'll have to see how that impacts the rest of the round as Omnish is about to find himself in a difficult situation with all the players coming from Cat. He finds himself in no man's land, finds one, and that's actually the bomb, so that'll slow him down for a second. Nice pick there from DeBoozer from Market. And now we are in a 3v3 with one player again on this T side, running his way all the way from spawn, and now we see a player in paint coming from Connector. And Chris Fry Rice joining Deboozer and Market. No kits on the side of UTD-JV, but that's a nice pickup there from Paint. Evening up the odds now at 3v2. He's running in as Chris Fry Rice, and wow, he actually finds the kill, and that's left the one player in Shanzi, and he's not able to find it. So actually a great gun round there from UTD-JV, and that's exactly what we were calling out, Corey. They need to win these gunfights, and they won them, I would say, emphatically.
It's so far. I mean, that's what I was talking about before. Is seeing whether or not UTD-JV can if they can win their gunfights. I mean, that's sometimes raw skill trumps any strategies. You know, all strategies, all tactics do rely on some type of aim and being able to win gunfights. And so, so right now we've got off the start. Deboozer are going to be watching inside of mid. They were jumping over the top of those mid boxes. So you got a quick peek there inside of mid. Paint's going to spot one, spraying down. Almost gets himself a second one. Ace of Losers is down to 12 HP. So they're still trying to take control over mid. So far, they've at least got the players there, but I wouldn't necessarily say they've got control yet. I don't think they know they've got control. As now they're starting to rotate around. Now Shanzi, I think that bullet just whizzed by his ear, but he didn't. But the player didn't know that. Deboozer didn't even know that he was there, and angling inside the sight. Shanzi's able to get one, and there's a side angle of Deboozer, as Deboozer picking up another op here in this game. So he's got one kill for this round so far. Let's see here. Ace of Losers creeping. He's still down to 12 HP. It's on a 3-on-3. Now 3-on-2 as Navnish. And Deboozer is just whizzing bullets by. Just creating a little bit of threat there. As the bomb is slowly working up towards Catwalk. They've got two players that are right there. And this time, Matouche has had enough. Now he's working the angle and starting to hold over there. But the bomb is actually executing here towards the B bomb site. Avnish inside of the site. He's going to try to be able to wash the cross. He doesn't realize that Valens has already made it across. Bomb is in the site. And Matouche is just watching that market window. He's got it on lock, and there's one, and he has an opportunity to make another one. Oh, just barely missing. He's going to try again, get another angle, and they made it way too easy for Northeastern. More importantly, Matouche to win that round. 6-4 now is the favor of Northeastern.
So now that's showing a little bit of light from that AWP, as we're going to see that replay again. He actually had the opportunity for the collateral there, had to take a leg shot, but he is able to close it out anyways. As he had a 3K in that last round with this AWP. We'll have to follow along with Matouche for the rest of the series, how he's able to perform, but now we see pistols only on the side of UTD-JV. As they come out quickly towards Cat, they're going to be met by Ace of Losers, who's going to be the first to find one. He finds two. Actually, this is a team spread, as Valens is able to pick up two, and there we have it. Shanzi even jumping on the board. It's almost a team ace. That is actually one of the other things we haven't seen. Ace of Losers finds the first bit of contact, but doesn't find himself a frag, as it's 7 on the board here for Northeastern, and money's starting to build up for them.
Yeah, looking at it right now for UTD, they've got full nade sets except for Avnish. They've got 3 players playing inside of B. There's really it looks like they've got a full attack here towards that B bomb site, and starting to push in there. And Bait has picked up one, but the damage, a lot of damage has been done so far. And that's a perfect molly, baiting him out, pulls him out, and will actually catch him on fire. And so now Chris Fry, Rice, and Paint trying to do their best. Ace of Loser, who has 2 HP, will plant the bomb inside of B. Starting to see that rotate right now over here. And then just a poor flash. Going to try again. Attempt number 2 is successful, but the fire is what's going to slow him down, and so will the smoke. First there's fire, then there's smoke, and then you can't go down Catwalk, and so they're going to save these weapons here. So we're going to see an 8-4 score line now in favor of Northeastern.
And it looks like they were actually going to go for it before that Molotov and smoke went down. They did have a kit onto Paint, but they're able to pick up the AWP and walk away with that. So as you mentioned, Corey, 8-4. Money's not looking great on the side of UTD. They've got a loss bonus coming their way, which will help a bit. But they won't be able to find the full stack of weaponry that they had. They might want to settle for MP9s and utility. As Paint fires and doesn't find anything, but here we go. We're going to get that AWP in the hands of Deboozer, as we've seen in this series. He's been whizzing bullets past people, but it is not enough sometimes. You need to whiz bullets into people, as now we see Famasas come out on the side of UTD JV. Corey, something I think I might want to see is, as you mentioned early on, getting those MP9s and trying to use that. Oh, as we see another whizzing shot going through. And now he's going to get mollied out of window. Oh my gosh, almost getting picked off there. But to my point, if I can make it real quick, is getting MP9, try to get some money and see what they can get with that. But Chris Fry Rice actually settling in with this M4 and gets taken out by Matt-like. As they're on the A bomb site, and now Bates finding himself in the middle of a fire that he has to put out in this round number 13. As it is a 2v2. They know now one person wants to A ramp as Bates saw the grenade coming out from there, and that is Matt-like with the AWP. He's going to jump. Oh, he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to reveal his position too late, or too early, excuse me. And that is going to be a nice two-piece there for Valens. 2K to close out round number 13. 9-4 in favor of Northeastern.
Yeah, starting to see it. Again, it's early in the morning. We've, you know, it's morning. It's morning for gamers.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
there we go.
Come on.
So making sure we're not
Shot
going
up
on
got up at 118 yesterday, and his match was supposed to be at 2. So, or yeah, it was at 1 actually. So that kind of tells you something.
You are absolutely correct. It's just on my watch it says PM, so just making sure we're going off a different time
Gamer
slot
time.
There you go.
Gamer
Yes.
time. I think that's the only time that matters.
That's the time we're in right now, as it's round number 14. And it's looking to be round number 15, pretty sure here, as Chevy's found 3. He's going on the site even more, hunting him down. He knows where he's at, and he can't quite find him, but there it is, the bullet in the head, and he wants the ace as he's hunting down Bates. And he is just running on out there. Bate hears him. He's got up. He has 12 health. He's like, I don't want to give it up just quite yet. As now we see Matt-like just holding that angle with the AWP. Bate is just waiting his time out. He's not trying to lose this deagle for nothing. He wants to at least take one gun out of the hands. And funny enough, he's as close as he is. The team has not found him quite yet. So Matt-like, he's going to pull, and he's going to pull the trigger onto Bate. A clean round there from Northeastern. And now we're starting to see the snowball onto their favor as it's 10-4 UTD JV. They're getting the fights. It's just they're not getting the executes. As we see Northeastern just able to swarm onto sites, get the trades they need, get the bomb down, and then putting it into an an uncomfortable retake situation for UTD. So as we're about to get to the half, we see the Boozer.
Oh, wow, his teammate threw that smoke, and that's actually, but he does win the battle. That was Paint who tossed out that smoke from Connector, and it looked like Ace of Losers was just going to go from smoke to smoke and swing by, and he does end up getting dropped by Paint at the end of it all. Valens has made his way all the way up Catwalk, though, into ladder room. I don't know if Bate knows he's here. He got there pretty quickly, and now they know that Bate was there, located there, but now let's see if Valens can find himself an angle. He's checking. Yep, there it is. They did not know that he had already advanced that far. So another molly is going to go down, slowing down Bate, but he's actually, Bate is actually rotated off of it, and he's holding a different angle now. And coming up there, Avnish is spotted Valens, as Valens was up inside of ladder room and just dropped down. And this is a really nice needed round here coming in for UTD. 3-on-1, final round of the first half. As he's high stepping, and this is, if he lives through this, that's not right. That's not supposed to happen. This is not the way it's supposed to be. He knows where both of them are at. He's got the revolver. He's got 25 seconds as well here. And checking the angles, Avnish is too close for comfort, and he's going to lose the fight. That is a fight that you should not be losing, especially a 3-on-1, and that was just some rough play to watch all around. Oh, man. So Northeastern, as we take another look, this is Shanzi's view the whole time. You know, he's trying to be able to make these shots. He realizes, and then boom, and then he just holds down mouse 1 and picks up that one, and then winning that last gunfight. So your first half score, 11-4 in favor of Northeastern.
Yeah, Chris Fry Rice missing that shot as he was planting kind of wrote their demise as Avnish picked up the AWP, and wow, they're just spraying through the smoke and they find Paint. So not a good start to this half for UTD JV, but we saw them win the pistol last time as they're finding one towards ladder room and finding another towards connector as Avnish gets picked up. And Shanzi actually able to fight his way through it and come out on top against the Boozer as Chris Fry Rice is all alone as he finds one pick and is on the B bomb site. Holy cow, look at the swarm, and he finds one, but it's not enough. 12-14, favor of Northeastern now. Let's see how they decide to play this round. Corey, as you mentioned, we saw the rifles coming through for UTD last time we were in this position, and now we're seeing 3 FAMASes of an MP9 and another FAMAS coming out. So seems like we're going to see a B rush here for UTD. Perhaps not expecting some of these FAMAS to be coming through. And we're actually going to see 2 players on the site of B with a close, or excuse me, 1 player playing window, another player playing the underpass, and here they come. The MP9 is actually the one watching that long angle there. As they come storming out of the apartments, finds 1, finds 2, another jumps down. Ace of Loser is trying to find the ace for himself as he gets 4, and Shanzy gets the 4th. And he says, I know what the last one's at. Oh, no. Oh, not. Oh, gosh.
He just let it happen.
Yeah, he sure did.
That wasn't even a question. He just let it happen. There's no challenge. There's no fight in that one at all. As we take another look here from Ace of Losers.
Oh, man. Paint. Oh, boy. That Glock's got 20 bullets, and I think he only landed about 3 of them there. So that's a little bit demoralizing if you're on the side of UTD. That one has to sting just a little bit, as I've been in that position before. And once you miss that many shots, you're kind of looking at yourself and like, man, what am I doing here? But we are here in this tournament, and they should know what they're doing in this position, as it is in the 18th round. The Boozer finding the first pick, and that is a good start there from UTD.
Yeah, looking how they're spread there. You got the same 3 players playing, but here's going to be a challenge inside of Palace here in a second, and Valens is going to win that gunfight. And in exchange, he's rewarded with an AK. And Shanzy inside of mid. I think he's shooting him from catwalk. Valens with another one. This is just, they're just dropping. And there's another one, and Ace of Losers is trying to wrap up the round, but his teammate Shanzy's going to do it for him. 14-4. UTD, they won the pistol, as you said, and then they won that second round to follow. They only really had 2 real rounds that they've won against Northeastern. And so far, I mean, it was what I shared before in the pregame. It's all about trying to find their, whether or not they could win gunfights. And now that we're starting to get, you're seeing players get a little bit more warmed up from Northeastern. Not as many gunfights are being won by UTD.
Remember, this was a 4-3 score line that has turned into 14-4. So as you mentioned, Corey, I think you nailed it on the head. Is that Northeastern absolutely starting to warm up into this series. But here we go. We're seeing Deagles in the hands of UTD, and then we'll have to see what they can do with them as they find a trade onto Chevy. And Bait is pretty far forward. He's going to find another one. That's actually the AWP, but he goes down through the smoke as Avnish finds a kill onto Valens. And now it's a 2v2, and they've gotten the bomb down. So that is mission successful.
My goodness. Look at all of these nades. And he's on fire.
4th of July, because they are getting lit up right now. And it's all up to no one, actually, as that's round number 15 on the board. Match point here for Northeastern, making quick work here of UTD. You know, and UTD is a math and science school, and I know that because I went there, and they're going to have to do the math on what their odds are in this next round with the money that they have, and it's not looking too hot. In this, I was going to say in this map, but they've got enough on their inventory that they can work with. They've actually got a double AWP setup on a T side.
Might as well waste everything as they're trying to be able to get the op pick. That was just a tough flash. There's going to be another one that peeks out. Matouche says, next, please.
And that's actually both of the AWPs going down.
That was a very expensive 2 times 4750. I'll let the engineers and the computer science people do the math while I'm waiting.
That is
9,500. Yep. And so, all right. So we'll.
Okay.
Yeah.
You baited me. I had my opportunity to sound smart, Corey, and you took it away from me. Just like Northeastern's about to take this round out of the hands of UTD, and Matt Like finds 4, and I think they're gonna let him try to go for the ace.
No,
actually, no, they're not. He's gonna go for a knife.
Oh no, they actually might. They might really, because watching how Shanzy actually played that one, he went out with a knife, and so now he's holding the angle. Matouche looking for this last one here, and his teammates were already leaving the server. That's crazy. 16-4, and Matouche just had just a field day at the end. But again, just slide stepping. This is how fast you're moving out whenever, because he relied on the flashbang. You saw it bounce and it fluttered in the air. It was right here. It's like, hey, I'm a flashbang. I'm about to pop, and it pops, and then Matoush goes, okay, here we go, and then I just started sliding in. I've got my op, and then now it's my turn. I'm going to do the exact same.
Remember that soundboard I was talking about? I wish we had what you just said. Hi, I'm a flashbang. I'm about to pop. I wish we had that every time we saw flashbang versus just. That's a lot funner. Could you imagine someone throwing a flashbang? Here I am. Uh-oh.
It reminds me of Rocket League. Whenever some of the cars where you have the voiceover is the vroom, where it's actually a person making the vroom sounds.
How funny would it be if they added a
It's
Prius
so good.
into that game? And it's
So
just
good.
wing.
That they have that too.
Actually?
Yeah.
Oh,
Rocket-
okay,
yeah,
well,
that-
shows
yeah.
how much I keep up with Rocket League.
Yeah,
then.
remember Psionics and Epic Games are pretty smart group of and very creative people. So
That they are.
I mean,
That
come on
they
here.
are.
Rick and Morty did a collab with Rocket League. That just shows how smart they are.
Ooh-wee, Corey, that sounds really exciting. Ooh-wee.
The fact they even have like Meeseeks, Mr. Meeseeks is a
Really?
a topper for one
That's
of the
awesome.
cars. So yes, so it is.
Does he disappear after they get a goal?
Well, dude, you tell him relax. I can't. That show is just too damn funny for me. So.
Ooh-wee, Corey, you're trying.
Oh, he's trying.
Hey, get out of my personal space.
So good. All right, so if that tells you anything about our reaction to how that game went, I mean, Northeastern, they just dominated. It was a rough game. If you really kind of pay attention to scorelines, remove the pistol rounds from it, you start to look at it. It was really a 14-2 game at that same way as well. It was Northeastern's game to win. They were playing really well. Round 3 or 4, but of course we changed the pacing of it as well. So, but Northeastern winning that one, they will advance in the playoff bracket. Next up, coming your way here, the next game doesn't actually supposed to start in another 15 minutes. So we'll hold true to those times as well, since they don't necessarily know that we probably ended this fast. So next up is going to be Drexel and Champlain as well. They'll be joining us here in a moment, and so stick around here. Make sure you check out brackets.esportstadium.gg to see where everything has fallen so far, see where the seeds are laying out. So it's going to be a good time. I mean, we're really starting to fine tune who's going to be playing against VCU, who's going to be playing against Pittsburgh. We'll find out more in this tournament, but we're done with map number 1. So stick around. We'll be back after this.